And now we have our own ZVT.
That we do here, continuing that trend on 2,000 atmospheres. LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Taiwan, currently teamless and representing himself. Who is he? He's MysteryMan. Wait, I can do it better. He's a mystery man.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Taiwanese Terran player, the best Terran player in all of the land of Taiwan, currently teamless, representing himself. It is ExpecT.
I'm already disappointed, Light. You didn't lean into the puns.
No, man,
I set it up for you.
You set nothing up, man. I'm done with this. Oh,
in my head, I set it up.
Look. If we were just doing like Oceania and Taiwan, Hong Kong, okay, like I can allow my brain to melt a little bit, but I gotta.
But you got a long night ahead of you, don't you?
Yeah, I gotta stand strong, mate. I gotta stand strong. Not yet, mate. Not yet. For Latin America.
How long did Desafiantes go for this one, actually?
I think it was only a 3-hour cast, I think.
Oh, okay. So you had some sleep.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. As soon as Desafiantes ended, I immediately had like a nap. I think it was a 3-hour nap, something like that. So
Oh.
Yeah. So not the worst. Was able to get some hours in.
Every send your energy to Light right now. Well, maybe not right now, but soon TM, because man, you got EU after this in Latin America. Oh boy.
Exactly, but I can't wait, mate. Like again, like the passion, especially the Latin American passion, is gonna fuel me through all of that. Because of course, we started off today with some ducklings in Oceania, and we're gonna have some more ducklings in Latino America. But we can talk more about that later on because we have a series, mate.
We do a very interesting one as well, MysteryMan. That quick 3 hatchery.
Oh yeah, before the Reaper even showed up, mate.
Really did. That's always the ultimate feels bad as a Terran player, right? You come in and you're like, oh man, I wanted to block that expansion.
Yeah. Feels bad, man. A very interesting location, by the way, for MysteryMan. Like, this is the more forward third base. It is a little bit more aggressive. If he did want to just kind of use it as a launch pad for creep and just kind of send it across the map.
Definitely. At least as aggressive as you can get on 2,000 atmospheres. The map still does tend to snake around a little bit unless you clear up that debris.
Oh god, exactly. And with that, of course, the third base gets up and running. You know, MysteryMan, he did delay his own queens a little bit to do that, but he is joining up beautifully. Meanwhile, ExpecT is going for a 1-1-1, but with that, you know, third CC before starport.
Yeah, nice and economic openings coming up from both of our players. I was leaning into what you said about the queens being a little bit delayed. Going for a third hatch like that, always a risk, especially if your Terran opponent is going to be aggressive. You're leaving yourself very, very isolated and vulnerable, but 2,000 atmospheres does cut both ways a little bit, so MysteryMan should be feeling safe enough to, or at least have just enough time to set up some defenses.
Oh yeah.
Does need to scout what his opponent's going for, though.
Exactly. Like at the moment, like the queens are standing strong here at the third base. We do see the Overlord is denied scouting, but he was able to edge in close enough to actually see the 1-1-1. He even saw the tech lab on the starport, so he's well aware of the Banshee.
And just like that, he's already setting up. It's going to be a little bit tricky defending against both Banshees and Hellions, especially if they come in from multi-prong. But not too much damage should be taken so long as MysteryMan has creep connecting each of his bases. Oh yeah, creep, Overlord vision as well, just to make sure he always has his queens in position. So far, he's done a very good job at warding away these Hellions. I'm just waiting for the... There we go. Spore does start in the natural. I'm like, yo, you saw the Banshees earlier. Like, mate, we gotta start that Spore production. Definitely. Little bit of a blind spot. On the plus side, it does allow him to get his lair a little bit sooner. It does allow him to throw down that Roach Warren. Now, what am I feeling here, Light? aggressive Roach Ravager?
Oh yeah, well I mean, what you just said is very important to point out, right? Like ExpecT, he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know what to expect even from this third player here. I'm sorry.
I knew we could coax it out of you.
He doesn't foresee what his opponent's build is, and as a result, he does not know that the roaches are coming, mate.
I appreciate that you broke out that thesaurus, but yeah, for now, Real Akuma, his build's a bit of a mystery, man.
Well,
I'm glad that he has an alias, MysteryMan. I mean, Zeta can pull out stuff like that.
Jesus Christ, feels bad, man. All right, the Banshees are coming in. We did see that ExpecT was waiting for those Banshees to bank up a little bit. He's going out with two. With two, you can one-shot drones, just like oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I guess suppose it doesn't really matter too much that the spore crawlers are there. You can still find a little bit of an angle, still dip in, take a couple of shots, and then dip out. It's all about control. So far, ExpecT controlling it pretty well, I would say. Not getting too much damage, but he keeps them alive.
He does. And you know what? He distracts the queens a little bit. The natural maybe is a little bit vulnerable here as the Hellions dip in, but the roaches are revealed.
Yeah, I got really worried there for a sec when those Banshees just passed by the Roach Warren, but the Hellions were still in position. They were still keeping tabs on the front lines of MysteryMan.
Exactly, and we talk a lot about this Roach Ravager composition. Ooh, as one of the Banshees does get sniped.
And one not too far behind. There's a bit of a wall of queens here. No openings for that Banshee to escape, but that is the least of ExpecT's problems right now.
Exactly, mate. That roach count, it's getting higher and higher. What I will say is that, I mean, he's looking to hit a +1 timing, but roach speed hasn't started. Ugh, there it is. I think that's a little bit late. That is going to delay the push, but that's the power of Roach Ravager, is that early on you can hit these timings before there's too much bio out on the map and look to attempt to kill your opponent.
Absolutely, especially when your opponent has delayed their tank production due to Hellion production they've been getting. But ExpecT is doing his best to just try to keep the Horde back as he builds up that production. Only has one tank, he's building a second one now, but still taking his time a little bit when it comes to producing those tanks.
Yeah, exactly. He's going for a little bit of a doom drop. I should say a little bit of a double drop. Meanwhile, there we go. The Ravagers are being morphed in. 1-1 is done, but again, roach speed is still a ways away. But the army is spotted here by ExpecT.
It is. He knows exactly what to expect. Should be getting his tanks in position, nice and far to the back.
Yeah, he is lacking a little bit in. Yeah, he's lacking in SimCity here, but we do have the double drop into the main base, and oh my god, that drags the entire army back home.
Very nicely done here. I was super worried for a sec. I was like, oh no, this drop, it means that there's no buffer for those tanks. The Roach Ravager could jump on top of them. But these Marines get even better value than just being a buffer back at home. They draw the entire army back. They're even picking off drones here and there.
Yeah, exactly. All the league's going to be cleaned up. At the same time, we do see that Hellion run by does hit the fourth base. Unfortunately, there aren't too many drones here. Otherwise, I'm sure there would have been a juicy KBBQ in that fourth mineral line. Instead, only 3 drones go down. But again, distracts the main army.
Very much done. MysteryMan's +1 timing was already delayed. And now it's just pushed way to the back of the line.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's going to be forced to become a 2-2 timing, which, to be fair, like, is still a very strong attack. Meanwhile, the tanks were a little bit unsieged. Oh. Yeah,
there's a little bit of an opportunity here for MysteryMan to go for it before those tanks hit siege up. The roach count is starting to look a little bit underwhelming. Some bios do land on top of the bio, but the tanks are still standing strong. For now, they are anyway. Looks like MysteryMan has just enough to break through.
Looks like maybe. I mean, it took a long time to finally bring those tanks down. The Marines are on the way. All the roaches have been cleaned up, and now the Ravagers are vulnerable. They're exposed.
They very much are, but what is there to clean them up? Some Marauders. Unfortunately, they're not really gonna crack through the Ravagers. So thankfully, A-Tank does still survive. And ExpecT barely pushes that back.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty close. Honestly, I was a little bit concerned for ExpecT because typically when you see a big Roach Ravager push coming, you throw down bunkers to protect your tanks in front of them, and you set up like some kind of SimCity outside your base, and we didn't see that at all from ExpecT. I think that fight probably went as well as it could have for MysteryMan. Maybe we could have seen some better biles, but unfortunately, it didn't work. And that first push, like, that's the strongest.
I think the reinforcers got drawn back again because he's remaking that Roach Warren now. There was a drop that sniped the initial one. Very nicely done from ExpecT once again. He's not winning these battles by getting himself in the best position. And he's winning these battles by pulling his opponent completely in the wrong position.
Exactly. We've seen that time and time again. Meanwhile, we see another drop here at the 4th base. Gets a couple of drones, distracts the army. Finally, that Roach Warren is remade. So we do have those those Ravagers immediately being reproduced. But again, oh god, we're going to be working towards a second wave here from MysteryMan, but this time, like, ExpecT, like, he's going to have better upgrades with his bio, a better position as well. Oh my god, ExpecT is even moving out.
Yeah, he's confident enough. He's dealt with the initial wave. He knows that MysteryMan shouldn't have too much map control right now. Well, we say shouldn't, but he's already remaxed. He has been able to strike the army for a long time, though, ExpecT has.
Oh yeah, like, ExpecT, he has eyes on this Roach Ravager, and despite having eyes on it, he moves out anyway. He doesn't care, and we're gonna end up in, like, a pseudo base trade. Oh no, he turns around!
Or not, I see MysteryMan. Oh no. Not sure if that's the best case scenario here, as these tanks have plenty of time to siege up on such a good position. The reinforcements in the back do get cut out, but they also buy the main army even more time to just siege up and get in a much better position. He's absolutely dominating both ramps.
Oh god, exactly. Meanwhile, nice biles, 2 tanks do go down, and that does hinder this push here. There are only 3 tanks remaining, and once again, they're left exposed. The bio isn't there to protect them.
That they aren't, but they are here to put the hurt on the rest of the army. That said, MysteryMan has a lot more production here. Back at home, he's been injecting a whole ton, plenty of larvae available, and he's able to reinforce and overwhelm this army. That could have gone a lot better for ExpecT.
Yeah, I feel like he had the army, just not the best positioning there, right? We saw the tanks were left so exposed. If only the Marines were just moved over a little bit to the right, they could have covered them. Those tanks would have survived a little bit longer. They would have gotten additional shots off and made tank shots. They just have so much DPS. That would have changed everything.
Exactly. With 5 tanks there, 1 or 2 more volleys would have completely wiped out the rest of the army there of MysteryMan. And now the shoe's definitely on the other foot. MysteryMan, his economy has pretty much been left alone this entire game. Sure, there was some tech snipes earlier on, but nothing to really affect the mining. He's been injecting hard here, and he is taking this entire army to the other side of the map.
Oh yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of biles on the SCVs. 14 SCVs go down, but despite that, we do have these 2 tanks. ExpecT, he does defend at home, does sustain a lot of economic losses though.
He really does, and I'm not sure if he can really afford these losses anymore. He does have mules, to be fair, and the bases haven't gone down, so he can remake those SCVs, but again, MysteryMan has just been left alone with his economy for so long in this game.
Yeah, but MysteryMan, he overstayed his welcome a little bit there. We saw all the roaches got picked off, more Ravagers get picked off as well. Like these are expensive losses, mate.
They absolutely are, especially because MysteryMan doesn't... It looks like he doesn't really want to transition out of Roach Ravager.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, the first wave, it's the strongest, and then we have the second wave, and then, like, ExpecT defends a little bit better. And now we're working towards the third. It's like, mate, at this point, Infestation Pit, you know, get a hive, like, start switching out. To be fair, I guess you can try and brute force your way through, but, like, as the game goes on, it's getting better and better for ExpecT. Like, +3 is on the way.
Yeah, ExpecT is already working towards his endgame army. He does want to maintain Marine Marauder tank for as long as possible, but MysteryMan is more than willing to make this composition of ExpecT work against him. Finally, the Infestation Pit gets thrown down.
Yeah, oh god, it's so late in comparison. Also, something that happened earlier is that the Evo Chambers were sniped, so if he wants to work on +3, then he has to rebuild those as well. I don't know if MysteryMan's noticed. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager is coming back in. The tanks were late to be sieged.
Barely sieging now. They do have a real good position at the top of this ramp, so MysteryMan does not break through. Instead, goes back home, deals with a drop here, gets ready for round, what would this be, like 5, 6 of his push?
Yeah, exactly. The numbers go higher. MysteryMan, he's less of a mystery. As here we go, ExpecT, he's pushing out across the map here with his bio, with his tanks. Again, his tanks are looking a little bit exposed. Oh, he's looking to reposition his bio.
Yeah, not quite there in time. The tanks do go down. Oh, the Bioforce eating a bunch of biles too. But it does look like Terran is winning this fight barely. The reinforcements are coming in from MysteryMan, though.
Yeah, that they do. Once again, another fight where all the tanks get caught out and die immediately. Like, they're always the first to go.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the ideal for the Zerg player, I guess.
Well, yeah.
He's targeting them down,
True.
you know. That was the game plan the entire time here from
Totally,
MysteryMan.
yeah, that was the plan from the...
Sometimes it might be inadvertent. But I'm going to say it's intentional every single time.
Every time, mate. For him, it is not a mystery. It is all planned here. As MysteryMan, he's sending it across the map. Again, every single time, he just resets the tank count. And that's so important here because that stops ExpecT from overwhelming the Roach Ravager.
Yeah, it's really the inertia here. ExpecT has a lot of momentum in his pushes, thanks to the tanks and thanks to the superior upgrades. But without those tanks, as you said, he doesn't really have a lot of survivability in the fight, so reinforcements from MysteryMan are able to overwhelm. Not this time, though, as MysteryMan runs out of money, and ExpecT takes game number 1.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That was a beautiful fight there for ExpecT. Those tanks got so many volleys out. And as we were saying, Roach Ravager, it's on a bit of a time limit. Like, you know, at some point it does fizzle out there, and that's exactly what happened. He was left behind on 2-2 for the longest time. You know, he was stuck on lair tech for the longest time. He was looking to end the game and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't pull it out. And ExpecT, even though he took some less than ideal trades, he was able to hold on, and that's all he needed to do.
Absolutely. His economy as well was barely touched throughout the entire game.
True.
Does feel like MysteryMan, it would have been tough. I was going to say maybe MysteryMan could have been a bit more greedy, but ExpecT was being so active with his drops.
Yeah,
like, sure, MysteryMan was able to defend against most of them, but just pulling the army out of position and giving ExpecT that time to remax, that time to bank up a couple of resources, was all he really needed.
Definitely. And again, like, time and time again, like, MysteryMan, he would just, even though he would kill tanks, he would lose his Ravagers, and he couldn't really, like, replace them as quickly as his opponent. Ooh. And, yeah, with that, we are getting ready.
Yeah, it would have been...
Go on.
Yeah, it would have taken a while for MysteryMan to remake those tanks. Actually, now that I think about it, he had got that infestation pit. Could have maybe neural the tank. Don't think that would have been the most worthwhile or efficient thing, but I'm just curious what he got that infestation pit for. I wasn't really able to transition out from there because by then ExpecT was already in the space.
Yeah, exactly. Oof. So those things were like, like the transition was on the horizon, but it was just out of reach, you know?
Yeah. How far is the horizon? Well.
What?
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's a metaphor.
God damn it.
Yes. He could see it. Right?
Yeah.
But because the horizon is always shifting or something, how does the globe work?
What are you? What is wrong with you? What is the horizon is always there, mate. You can never get to the horizon because it's always one.
Exactly.
Always
yeah.
What are you on about? Oh god, here we go. We have.
I'm getting you ready for. I'm keeping you sane. Is what I'm doing.
Doing a bad job out of me, man. I'm losing my sanity. Man. It's leaving me. Oh.
Well, it's leaving you and coming to. No, wait. That's the opposite of what should happen. I should be giving my sanity to you. I never had it from the start though, so. We're loading into game number 2.
We are loading into game numero dos here in this series. Gonna be on Lightshade Ellie. Go on.
Yeah, and I'm kind of expecting MysteryMan to pull something off here. We saw he wanted to be very aggressive and pull a bit of a fast one against Nice. Now that we're on Lightshade, a map that has a bit of a shorter rush distance, I kind of expect things to go similar. But we'll see what happens as we spawn into the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, where we have the blue Terran player coming down from the land of Taiwan. He is currently representing himself as he is teamless. He took that game number 1, which I guess is just to be ExpecT. expected. He's expect.
And spawning in the top left hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Taiwanese Zerg player. He is red, representing himself as he is teamless, and also quite a mystery man.
So mysterious, even his team's a mystery.
It is, mate, it is. Is it Naive Dream World? Or is it not?
That would be the dream world.
God. Meanwhile, we are getting into game number 2. Speaking of, when we covered the qualifiers, I don't think we saw anyone on Naive Dream World, right?
One or two, but very, very early on. Don't really remember who though.
Yeah, I felt like it was more prominent among the players last season.
What was his name? Starlight? No, not Starlight. That was
no, he was on SLT.
That's, yeah. That was also a different qualifier.
Exactly.
Landing together that entire week, and it's all coming to fruition here.
It really is, and we'll see where this leads us. Again, Mystery Man, we were talking about it. He is kind of the underdog coming into this group, coming into DreamHack Masters. But honestly, like the previous game, like his engagements honestly weren't too bad. Like he was performing well there.
Yeah, he definitely found the right angles to push into. It's just unfortunate that, you know, those drops were taking up a lot of his attention. The reinforcements weren't quite able to get to the front line numerous times.
Yeah.
MysteryMan barely broke through. Had a couple of Ravagers left over. If his reinforcements were there to provide more of a buffer, he would have had enough momentum to just completely knock ExpecT over. But ExpecT always found these drops, always found the reinforcements, was always able to get a couple more defenses of his own to act as inertia.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, because of all the drops, like, Mystery Man, his timings were off as well. Like, imagine if he did hit, you know, like, maybe 30 seconds sooner even, like, ExpecT. It's possible that he may have fallen. It's very possible. What I will say is, on a map like this, on a map like Lightshade, Roach pushes are, I feel, a little bit more deadly. They hit a lot faster. Even when it comes to turning around and coming back into defense, like, there's less area to traverse. So I feel like Roaches could do a little bit better here, but at the same time, do you want to go for that composition 2 games in a row?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I definitely agree with you though. It is a tough call to make right now if you're a Mystery Man, because you're thinking, well, ExpecT will probably be expecting me to go for those Roaches once again. He will probably have a better defensive setup, and since we are in Lightshade here, he probably also knows that it won't take as long for me to move across the map, so he's going to be even more careful. That is not how Mystery Man is thinking, though. Instead, he's thinking, well, I was barely able to break him last game on 2,000 atmospheres. A map where, you know, doing this style isn't necessarily favored. It's not weak either, but it's weaker than it would be here on Lightshade. I'm just going to go full for it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the logic here for Mystery Man to try and pull it off again in a little bit of a better scenario. What I will say, though, is that ExpecT is going for something completely different. Game 1, he committed to the Banshees. Game 2, he threw down a Fusion Core, and mate, we got BCs.
Spores ain't quite gonna cut it, although you still need it for additional DPS.
You do. Meanwhile, I believe, as I quickly check here, ooh, okay, so we did have a Banshee on the way, but it was cancelled. We do still have a commitment to nothing but BCs. Because of that, we're not gonna have the BC, or I don't think we should have the BC ready for the Roaches. The Roaches are popping out now. Finally scouted.
It's all about these Hellions. Just buy ExpecT as much time as possible. Even then, though, BCs do just sort of tickle Roaches. It's gonna be a while before ExpecT gets a couple of tanks out, or even a Cyclone out.
Ooh, and Mystery Man decides to drone up. He throws down double Evo chambers. He's like, you know what? It's too late. I'm not going to be able to pull this off. I'm going to transition and try and hit a timing later on. But that means that this BC, obviously this bunker isn't necessary now that now that the push isn't coming. But yeah, the BC is free to go across the map, and the spore isn't ready. Uh-oh.
That it is not. Very limited queens as well. And the Roach Horn is uber exposed. I wonder if this will prompt MysteryMan to just go across the map, or if he's still gonna wait until he can get a bit of a better time in here. Because the tanks are already on the way for ExpecT.
That they are. Meanwhile, the first queen already does fall in the main base. Can another queen get picked up? It looks like one of them may. He wants it so bad.
Getting
but he also wants to escape.
Does go down. Decent pickoffs here for ExpecT, but the BC starting to get really low. Lumber volley! Unable to get it!
Oh my
Meanwhile,
god.
the Hellions are coming in from the third base, absolutely roasting through the rest of the mineral line. This is the last thing MysteryMan wanted to happen. The one game he decided to drone up.
Exactly. MysteryMan, all of his attention was here with the BC. The Roaches were not where they needed to be, and that Hellion run by just went ham here in the middle line. 15 drones went down alongside those two queens. And again, that BC with like a slither of health, with 10 HP, it survived.
Barely survived. It shouldn't have either. It teleported to the opposite side of the map, deep into the dead air, but now it can be repaired. It can be repaired to become another harassment tool.
That it can. Thankfully for MysteryMan, there's no second BC on the way. Otherwise things could start snowballing in a dreadful manner. Only one BC here for ExpecT. Meanwhile, we do see a Spire as a response to said BC. I mean, we could still see a commitment into mutas, but again, if he makes corruptors, like, they have very limited value here because there's only one BC.
They really do. I hope MysteryMan does commit a little bit more into Mutalisk here, so those Mutalisks will serve a bit more of a purpose after taking out the BC. You can still try to overwhelm a single BC with a bunch of Mutalisks. It's not the most efficient, but it's still technically a favorable trade.
Yeah, exactly. As the BC does once again come across the map, it has already been topped up, full of health, has already been repaired. Meanwhile, at the same time, you have the Overseer coming in, and with this Overseer, he confirms, there's no additional tech lab on the starport. We have no more BCs.
Yeah, thankfully, he's not going to be making Corruptus here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not really producing enough Spire, though. Continuing to commit to Roaches for now.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? 1-1 is done. He's working on a 2-2 timing. Again, if there was more of a commitment to BCs, then we would see a switch into Corruptors, but because there isn't, then he doesn't really have to use that Spire. It's kind of wasted resources, but he was also being safe.
Yeah, it's just insurance for later down the line if he needs it. Roach Ravager is starting to make its way across the map.
Oh.
Should be hitting the bases anytime soon, but, just trying to establish or regain his map control. MysteryMan is.
Not just regain map control, but also, protect and allow all this creep to be spread, which is already, at around the halfway point here for MysteryMan. Meanwhile, ExpecT, his defense position is looking pretty good. Maybe we got a line of tanks, we got another line of tanks, we got Bio. He does have a force out here clearing up that creep, just keeping MysteryMan busy. But again, MysteryMan, he wants to wait for his upgrades anyway.
Yeah,
or does
exactly.
He? Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh. I mean, the tanks are pretty far back.
That they are. This base could go down. ExpecT isn't careful. The army is split up a little bit, which is less than ideal. A couple of depots go down, and it will supply cap ExpecT for now, but it's not the biggest of deals for our blue Terran player.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a bunch of free damage is going to go down here because of this BC, but the BC doesn't move. It gets wild.
Oh, a couple of those biles just barely miss.
God, it just barely.
Still alive. Somehow.
Yeah. If only one or two more piles connected there, then the BC would have gone down. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager is returning. Unfortunately, BC does dodge those. And there's still a drop here in the natural, by the way.
There is. Queens is starting to deal with the Medivacs, and Roaches are going to come back, prevent too much damage being done, but these are Roaches that aren't across the map, aren't applying pressure on ExpecT. Now ExpecT, he's starting to make his move. He's maxing out. 2-2 is on the way.
Yeah, that it is. He's already moving out across the map. He wants to hit the fourth base of MysteryMan. Meanwhile, the Ravagers are here. They're ready, but the Roaches are not.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ravagers are quite a lot more squishy than Roaches are, especially against Marines. The 4th base will go down, and MysteryMan holds half of his army back. The other half is trying to get some pressure across the map, but it's a bit of a Goldilocks situation. He doesn't have enough at either front.
Mates, and those tank shots, they go off and everything gets taken out here. Unlike game number 1, we had beautiful tank positioning here from ExpecT. The buyer was in front, G gets called, and ExpecT takes the series 2-0.